Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Sri Banerjee, core faculty for the College of Health Sciences and Public Policy of Walden University. And in this video, I'll be talking about a composite index, which is very useful in social research. It's a global index that is used more so than something used countrywide. For instance, you would see this more in a global health study. That is the Human Development Index. And when you have data available like this, like countrywide data available for most of the 200 countries, then this actually allows for you to do a lot of effective comparisons between this development index and potentially uh, seeing connections with outcome variables. So you can read a little bit more about this Human Development Index here. Scrolling down a little bit, we can explore the HDI in all regions or add a country. So I'm just going to take a look at South Asia. And when you look at the world, and then filter by developing region, and look at South Asia, you see some comparisons here. For instance, Afghanistan's HDI is actually much lower than that of the world. And Afghanistan is part of South Asia. So as you can see, this is not just the whole region. It breaks it down by country within that region. So, for instance, India, Nepal, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Maldives, all of these, Iran, Sri Lanka, all of these are part of South Asia. So when you say South Asia, it's not just specifically. So this also does demonstrate temporal trends. I want to make that point clear as well. When you have you're starting off kind of in the 90s, actually 1990 to be exact, and you're ending up with 2019. So you have about 19 years of data, and you can use this summary measure of average achievement in key dimensions of human development. So this is, a reflection of three dimensions. So it's the life expectancy that each person has at birth. The education dimension, this is measured by the mean of years of schooling for adults aged 25 years and more, and expected years of schooling for children of school entering age. So basically, this is all the individuals that have had some schooling, and that's the criteria, parameters of that criteria. So then, of course, the standard of living dimension, this is measured by gross national income per capita. So then the HDI uses a logarithm of income to reflect the diminishing importance of income with increased GNI. So I went into too much detail here, but you're probably more confused now than you were at the beginning. But I think this figure clears it all up. And that the idea is this. We're trying to look for ways to combine socioeconomic measures, to combine demographic measures, so that you can use them effectively in a way that you can then avoid overfitting. Because one common, and this is a statistical problem, but one common statistical problem that you have in social science research is overfitting. Sometimes you have uh, to use things like Bonferroni corrections, things like that. But one strategy is to use composite indices. And so this HDI, Human Development Index, composite index, there's a lot of research, 19 years of research for about 200 countries. So there's a lot of data available, and it combines the long and healthy life indicator, knowledge, and a decent standard of living. These three dimensions. And how does it do that? Well, this is how it does that. Life expectancy at birth, you can measure. Expected years of schooling, mean years of schooling, and then the gross national index per capita. And this is PPP in dollars. These are the three indicators that you're looking for. So you have a life expectancy index, you have an education index, and you have a GNI index. So by understanding how much life expectancy, about how much schooling, mean years of schooling that everybody's having in a country, and what the gross national index is per person, um, then the gross national income is per person, you're able to actually get a good indication of what is going on. Um, so now that I've actually explained everything, and I want to make sure I make a correction very clear that the GNI stands for gross national income and not gross national index. Gross national income makes more sense because it's how much income you're making, and that's per person. So now that we've done that, we can now again go back and take a look at the world and compare. So what's interesting here is for the whole world. Well, I mean, you have an of billions of people, 7 to 8 billion people. But it hasn't really changed. The HDI hasn't changed. But if you look at the regions, this is where the changes are at. So if you change from South Asia to, for instance, Sub-Saharan Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa kind of falls all over the map in a way. Sicilies Islands, but more importantly, South Africa is not doing so poorly. Mauritius, these are also not doing so poorly, but Malawi, and Sub-Saharan Africa, Mozambique, Mali, Chad, Sierra Leone, Ethiopia has come up. One thing, you want to look at the slope too. So over the years, it has come up. Burundi had good stability and then went down, and then is coming up again. And so what you can do is you can actually add a country, up to 3 additional countries, if it's not included within the region that you're looking at. So maybe you want to compare this, what is going on, to Nepal and Sri Lanka, and see what's going on. So there's some really neat comparisons that you can actually now complete from this. And then, if you want further exploration and further information on any of this from the United Nations Development Program, they're always having webinars. I've attended quite a few webinars now, and also they have some of these blog articles, which are really interesting to read. For instance, this one on closing the equity gap with water and sanitation data, which can help us to ensure, this is a really interesting article, ensure no one is left behind. And then global inequality and social protection. Um, yeah, so if you just wanted to take a look, they then actually explore another really important index that you should be very familiar with. I've used in multiple places, and it's just been updated in 2021. So I'm going to make mention of this in this video, and that is the multidimensional poverty index. Please take a look at this report. It's a very good report. For the sake of time and length, I'm not going to make it a major portion of this video. But looking at this, you can take a look at really good indicators of equity gaps that still exist within countries in various regions, as has been designated by U.S. aid. So this is all an indicator, and I've written a lot about Sustainable Development Goal number 6, but this is an indicator that safe water and sanitation, Development Goal number 6, we have far ways to go for that. And it's going to be difficult, it's going to be a challenge to get there by 2030. And so there's some good global Waters Medium article that actually goes into a little bit more about that. But take a look at the equity gaps, specifically with the multi-dimensional poverty index and the report. And this is I'm just going to end with this screen, so that you can then explore this and take a look at the water and sanitation equity gaps that exist as well. I hope this has given you a whole host of tools now that now you can use effectively in combination to use composite indices to either if you're just out of curiosity trying to find out more about each of these variables, if that's your intention, then use it for that, or to try to connect it then to a potential suitable outcome variable, whether it's maybe mortality, or some sort of morbidity indicator that you're trying to look for. There's so much information in here. Make use of it. Thank you for listening.